Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about Minority Report, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell, and Max von Sydow. Now, as a action film, I think this is a solid piece of entertainment. I even think that it's a not bad cop drama. See, not in the caliber of The Departed, mind you, but still a good effort. You know, we've been making cop dramas for, decades now. People have got it down. And unless you're an idiot, it's not hard to make a decent one. However, I have a problem with it as a film of science fiction. Now, it looks wonderful. There is a lavishness and depth to every scene, to the textures that you're looking at in the world. The people, the clothes, everything looks very well integrated, very real. I really enjoyed the set pieces, the attention to detail as far as making sure everything made sense as far as you're walking down the street, everything around you kind of looks like it's supposed to look, like you're walking down the street. I appreciate that. But there were flaws in the film for me as far as both the world presented and the premise of the film. Now, the basic concept of this film is that there are 3 psychics who can predict murders as much as 4 days out, unless it's a crime of passion, and when it can be as little as like 20 or 25 minutes, because there's no premeditation involved in a crime of passion. So they may have very little time to get this solved. And when they have this, they encode the memory that they have onto a medium, just like you could encode this video onto a DVD or a CD, but their medium of choice is wood. Now, the justification in the film is that the wood has a unique structure, so the unique memory put into the unique structure cannot be duplicated. Not a bad justification, if you ask me. But they're made into spheres, and then they're put through little plastic tubes, like hamster plastic tubes, which made no sense whatsoever. Why wouldn't you make a disc, which is a whole lot easier to pick up and use, and doesn't roll away if it falls on the floor? It just that right there kind of bothered me. And the whole concept of arresting a person who hasn't committed a crime because you're convinced that they're going to, that really does toss free will out the wall. And the world they're presenting to you essentially has no Fourth Amendment rights. There is no one in this world presented in the United States of the year 2056, I believe, that has any Fourth Amendment rights. I mean, the police can run roughshod over anyone and get away with it. That bothered me. One of the ways they have this ability is that everyone's eyes have been registered, your retinal patterns. And when you walk around, there are devices everywhere, on buildings, on stores, in subways, that scan your eyes. And then it can identify you as being there. Mostly for marketing purposes. They use telescopic speakers to pinpoint your ears so you hear an ad, even though everyone else around you cannot hear the ad you're hearing. They're hearing the ad for them. So it would say, "Hey, Tetsubo, thanks for coming back. We have some deals for you today," kind of thing. Which would drive me insane and would mean I would be voluntarily wearing earmuffs everywhere in public. I would also be wearing sunglasses to hide my eyes because I believe in my privacy. And if that were illegal, I'd be immigrating to another country. But there were some logical flaws overall in this process. At one point in the film, our main character, Tom Cruise, has his eyes removed to have new ones put in. And in the process, he encounters the doctor who's going to be doing this, who he put in jail in the past. Now, the doctor can't murder him. If he tries to murder him, he's going to get caught because the psychics will predict this and blow the whole process out of the water. So, he can't murder the guy, but he has the cop who put him in jail, helpless, in front of him, under anesthesia. What does he do? He does the operation, gives him a present, and leaves. If I'm removing the eyes out of the cop that sent me to jail, guess what? I'm going to leave after I remove his eyes. I'm not going to put new ones in, give him a gift, and then go home. That was silly. And then at one point in the film, he's running around through the city. His new eyes are identifying him as some poor Japanese guy. And he kidnaps one of the psychics. And he's lugging this psychic through the streets. Now, she's a basic vegetable most of the time. So she has no muscle tone. She can't stand. So he's literally lugging her through the streets. She's probably the most valuable human being on the planet. There's only 3 of these people in the world, as far as I can tell. And he has no problem with this. And yet, no scanner is picking up her eye pattern. You're telling me they haven't recorded her eye pattern? She's the most valuable person on the planet. She can see the frigging future. Made no sense. And there are things like that throughout this movie that bugged me. As an action film, as a police drama, not bad. But as a science fiction film, I think it failed. It failed because the world it presented to me was incredibly oppressively unpleasant. It failed because some of the internal logic made no sense. And also, the infrastructure they're showing me 40 years in the future, it just isn't going to happen. We would have to have started building the infrastructure they were demonstrating 10 years ago for them to be at the stage they are in the year 2056. It's just there isn't enough time to ramp up to what they're at. And the machines they show in the world, the factories and the cars and stuff, they have fewer safety features than our machines had in the year 2000. I know, I work with machines every day. I work around robots. They have lots of safety interlocks involved. Not in this world. No safety interlocks. You can run right into where a robot functions, and it's going to keep working. It's never going to notice you. It's just going to keep working. Doesn't work like that, folks. The film could have been a lot better if they had thought deeper about the story and the logic instead of putting as much money into the visuals on the screen. It looks great, but it fails for me because they didn't take as much time on what the context was as opposed to how it just appeared.